Hi, this is George Anton here. What if I told you there are three levers, what I call sometimes three dials, that make all the difference in the world when it comes to real estate investing? You see, every single deal, every single real estate investment deal has these three levers that you have to run to control. And once you get rid of all the noise and you focus on these three levers, it can be the difference between success and failure for most people. One of the most important things you have to do is master these three levers. The first step to mastering is becoming aware of them. One of the things we're going to do in this video is I'm going to walk you through what these three levers are, or three dials, and have you start on a journey to mastering these three levers. I've trained tens of thousands of investors, and I can tell you with all certainty that most of them have no clue that these exist. I'm going to be sharing these with you right now. So get ready, buckle up, and let's dive in. So let's go ahead and talk about these three dials. The three dials for any real estate investment. Okay. Now these are really critical because most real estate investors are not aware of these, and yet these three dials can mean all the difference in the world between success and failure for most real estate investors. So what I want you to think about, let's start with in the old days, we had these old radios. Let me see if I can draw an old radio here. So imagine a radio. Okay, so let's just say this is and you're trying to tune it, and you have these dials. Remember those dials? And you would use those dials to tune to the right station for tuning, right? Let's just draw the antenna here, a handle. This is your old radio, and you would use these to dial, to tune the right station. Well, it turns out in real estate, you have also the same dials, okay? In real estate, you have three dials that are critical. So I'm going to draw a deal. Let's just say this is your debt, your mortgage, or the debt. Now, keep in mind that debt can mean a combination of a mortgage, but also part of your down payment could be borrowed money, right? Down payment could be borrowed as well. So you have to know the difference between debt and equity. And I'm talking about debt strictly here, okay? So as a debt is a percentage. So if this is your debt, that means this is your equity, right? And this could be part of your down payment as well, but it's the equity portion. If you're not sure what I'm saying, you should know the research difference between debt and equity, very important. So let's just say here you have 75% LTV. That's your debt part, okay? So there's three dials here. I'm going to draw the first two dials because these are critical. The first dial is your LTV, okay, or percentage of debt. This is critical. Now, I want to be clear. You've probably seen my other video on the three sides of a deal. You have the asset, you have the capital, and you have the capital structure. I'm talking about this part here, okay? These are dials down here. Again, the more you understand this, the more you understand how to build wealth faster. And so this is where this comes in, falls in. So when someone says to me, location is important or whatever, that's fine. These are all important, but I'm talking about capital structure here, okay? Because this is the part that most investors fail at. So the first dial is your ability to increase or decrease the percentage of debt on this deal, okay? The second dial is your spread. Now, this is critical too. So what is spread? Spread is what the asset pays, and it's a term called capitalization rate, but cap rate, okay? And something called the loan constant. You want the cap rate to be more than the annual loan constant, not the interest rate, but the loan constant. So I want you to step back and think to yourself, is what George is saying way too complicated or way more advanced? And the answer is probably, for most people, the answer is yes. Now, why do you think I'm telling you this? Because this is the stuff that actually builds your wealth. Would you prefer to be blind for the next 10, 20, 30 years thinking you're building wealth, but you're actually not building wealth? This makes all the difference in the world, understanding these principles we're talking about here. As you progress through this journey, you're going to learn more and more and more. And the more you understand, the more you come back to this and you realize this is critical. And there are people, ask yourself, why are there real estate investors out there that have been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years that have so little to show for it? Because they think real estate investing is about collecting rent. It's not. Okay? It is about certain ratios that allow you to be one of the best investors out there when you understand this stuff. Again, just keep watching these videos. Okay, let's go back to spread. Here's what you want. Okay, now this here is called a positive spread. A positive spread is not the same as positive cash flow. Is when your cap rate is more than a loan constant. So here's the analogy I want you to think about. But imagine someone here tells you, I will give you $5. Let's just say this is you. For every $3 or for every $4 you give me. So you give them $4, they give you $5. How many times would you do that? Okay, that's a spread. This is what's happening here. What if I told you most investors out there are buying where you're giving them $5 for every $4 they give you? Okay, you might still have positive cash flow over here because the debt isn't that high. Okay, but you have to realize this is critical. Okay, you'll see as we progress. Let's go back to this. We want positive, such a cap rate more than your loan cost. So that's the second dial. So you start, actually, I'm going to say this. This is your first dial. This is your second. You set it to positive spread, and then you increase your LTV. The third, but not too much. There's a maximum that you have to know what it is. If you don't know what the maximum is, you're in trouble. Okay, and we're going to help you with that. You start with a positive spread. You go up to a maximum with a positive spread. You never want to have negative spread and increase your debt. This is what's hurting a lot of investors. Your third dial is your reserves. This is your third dial. Okay, you have to set it to the correct number. So let's go back to the radio here. The radio, you have 3 dials, and you want to set it. You want to set them correctly to get the right volume with the right station, with the right signal, everything. Same thing in real estate. You want to set everything correctly. It's not about the renter, folks. It's about the ratios, and you're going to find out this more and more as we progress through this journey. First, you set the right spread. Then you increase the LTV to some maximum or less, but never above. And third is you set the right reserves. Now, what's reserves? I'm just going to give you a quick formula here. This is a simplistic formula, but what we call primary reserves, you'll find out in the future there's more than one reserves. Your primary reserves is your operating expenses, your monthly operating expenses for this property, plus your debt service times number of months. Now, this is a simplistic one. I'll explain why. Let me just show you this. So these are monthly. So what is your operating expenses for this property? You have taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities, repair, whatever it is, okay? And you're going to multiply by number of months you want to keep in reserves, between 3 and 6, okay? I'll expand on reserves in the future, but this is a simplistic formula. What is not, you have to be aware of is capital expenditures. Will expand in the future about this. This is what hurts most investors as well. So let's go back to the 3 dials. First, you have to recognize that there are dials that you can tune for a deal to optimize your wealth. And so these 3 dials come from the capital structure. When you look at a property, there's 3 dials that you have to start thinking about and becoming aware of. Number 1 is your spread. Again, we're going to expand some of this in the future. You want to set it to a positive spread. That means your cap rate should be more than your loan constant. Again, I'm going to expand what these things mean in the future. Number 2, you then set your LTV high. So let's go back to this. If someone is going to give you $5 for every $4 you give them, that's your spread. Then the question is, how many times would you do it? As many as possible. That's your LTV, right? You set the positive spread, then you do it as many times as possible. That's your LTV. And third is reserves, right? Just in case you have to have reserves, and I give you the formula here. So I'm going to expand on a lot of this stuff in the future videos, but now the objective of this goal of this video is to make you aware of the 3 dials for any real estate deal. And we're talking about dials here, okay? Hopefully this was helpful. If you need more information and would love to implement some of this information, go ahead and hit the link right below this video. That's all we do day in and day out. We help real estate investors and investors get to their financial goals a lot faster. I'll see you soon. So hopefully you enjoy that content. If you want more of that, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. We are big believers in sharing content and training that can change your life. Also, for anyone wanting a copy of the drawing I just did, download the PDF of that right below this video. You'll see a link in the description. Go ahead and download that. In fact, I would highly recommend you read some of the description we have because we always have links to videos in there that might be very appropriate or correspond to the one you just watched. Now, as a company, all we do day in and day out is we help people like you start seeing a transformation in their life. We focus on implementation. So anytime you're ready, we're here for you. Go ahead and click on the link below and let us know when you're ready and we'll get you going, okay? So with that, I'll see you in the next video.
Bye.